Hey YouTube. So today we're talking about our little greenhouse trees and garden that we've got going on the porch at our apartment. So I guess we just start at the beginning. When we first moved here, I wanted to start growing trees because I knew that we would purchase some property. And I wanted fruit trees on it. So I literally went to the grocery store and I bought some apples and a couple pears, and I took the seeds out and I put them in little plastic bags with some wet paper towels, and some of them sprouted and some of them didn't, and the ones that sprouted I planted in small little pots like that terracotta one right there. The terracotta pots I found on sale at a big box store. I think they were like 33 cents a piece, and the plastic dishes underneath to catch the extra water, I think those cost more than the actual terracotta pots. And the little sprouting trees, that actually back there, we think it's an oak. A squirrel planted it in one of these pots last fall, and it sprouted a couple weeks ago, so we transplanted it into its own little thing. And when we pulled it out, the nut it sprouted from kind of looked like an acorn, so that's what we're going with, but could be something else, who knows. Anyhow, so the apples I bought were Cosmic Crisp apples, which are a Honey Crisp, now I forget the other one. They're a hybrid. And that doesn't really matter because these apple trees are going to they won't produce apples true to their parent. So these will not grow a Cosmic Crisp apple. But when they get a little bit bigger, a little more mature, I can cut them and then graft into their stems the type of apple I want them to be. So what I'm growing here are basically the rootstock that my future orchard, if you will, is going to become. In the background is a little mint plant that I got. It looked really sad and was on clearance at a grocery store. And it started out in a terracotta, got moved up to that one. And that's where it's living now. And that one overwintered in the greenhouse. I had to cut it back. But it's looking good. It came out in the spring. Hooray! So what we have are 7 apples and 2 pears. That's a pear, and that one's a pear right there. And these larger black pots we bought on clearance again for I think like 66 cents a piece. You just have to buy them in the off season. Back here, you can see smiling at you, is one of the Halloween, jack-o'-lanterns the kids take trick-or-treating bucket. And those I use as planters in the fall. I turn them jack-o'-lantern side out in October and then flip them around so they're just pumpkins in November. I've got 2 of them that go on each side of the greenhouse. And I think we had marigolds in them in the fall, and obviously when it got cold in December, the marigolds died back, and I used them I took all their soil and I dumped it into another larger size black pot, which I put an avocado tree. Just give me just a second, I'll go get it. Okay, and there's my avocado tree. I grew that from a pit. You can still see it has a matchstick in it. I put 3 matchsticks after we made some guacamole one night into the pit of the avocado. Set it in a jar. It rooted, and then it grew a stem on it, and when the stem had a few leaves, I put it in the pot, and that's my tree. It lives inside right now because it's still too cold for it outside for any length of time. And eventually, this isn't really the right climate for a tropical tree like an avocado, so it's pretty much going to be an indoor tree or live in a heated greenhouse for its life. But anyway, I dumped the marigold soil into that, and that's what you see there. The big project we did today was amending all their soil with some fruit and tropical tree feed. Can't even think of the words. And we just used a little fork and fluffed up the soil, put a couple spoonfuls on it because it said to do it by inch of diameter, and I think all together they might be an inch. And then we just fluffed it around and then watered them. These, however, are the seed starts that we just did the other day. We mixed our soil. We used the square foot garden technique called Mel's Mix, where it's part perlite, part compost, and part peat moss. And we use our soil blocker, which we bought. I'll get that out so you can see it. That's this right here. It's nice and dirty, been used. And we used it to make a bunch of little soil blocks for the planters. And so that has, we labeled them some painter's tape. Those, as soon as they sprout and are a couple weeks old, we'll be transplanting those into the straw bale garden out at the property. So we've got all kinds of guilds, plant guilds together. So there's, what have we got? Borage, Roma tomatoes, marigolds, bee balm, thyme, cilantro, jalapeno peppers, romaine head lettuce, basil, just tons of stuff that'll all grow really well together, and hopefully we'll see sprouts in a few days. I think, these right here are green onions. Again, the terracottas I got. And these were another purchase. I purchased some green onions at the grocery store, and then just simply cut the green bits off, use that in food, and then rooted the bottom in some water, and when they had roots, put them in some soil. And now I've got green onions, and you can see sometimes I'm pretty good about eating green onions, and other times I forget they're out here. But that's our green onions, and I just keep regrowing them and reusing them. So, same with the mint. When I need mint, come out, clip some off, give it a wash. We made all kinds of things. Mint cookies, drinks, whatever you use mint for. Clip some off, and it's ready to go. This is the little greenhouse, the little start of our orchard, and kind of the plans. Like I said, when they get older, we'll graft the varieties, cultivars of fruit trees that we want to produce into them, and then they'll put on the fruits that we want to eat. So people will tell you that you cannot grow trees from the seeds you get at the store, and that's just not true. They won't grow true to seed from the fruit that you eat, so you just have to have a future plan of grafting onto them. But yeah, all of these were started from seeds we got at the grocery store. So, happy gardening, everybody.